Why did three teenage girls team up to kidnap their teacher? Mr. Cooper was the kind of teacher who got off on making students miserable. In a P history, he'd lean over your desk during tests, breathing coffee breath down your neck while tapping his pen on your paper just to throw you off. And when he handed back essays drowned in red ink, he'd always add his favorite line, "In the real world, this wouldn't fly." I spent all junior year counting down to summer, marking days off my calendar like a prisoner, thinking I'd finally be free of his polyester blazers and power trips. So when I walked into driver's ed 2 weeks later and saw him sitting behind the instructor's desk, my heart plummeted. But it was too late to switch instructors. "Where do I turn?" I asked during our first lesson, gripping the wheel nervously. "You don't turn unless I say to," he barked, making me swerve slightly. "Just assume you're going straight until I say otherwise, though with your steering, straight is a pretty loose term." The two other girls in the backseat exchanged looks through the rearview mirror. When Maria gripped the wheel too tight, he chuckled. "Death grip won't help you drive better, sweetheart. This isn't a strength test." Emily stalled at a stop sign, and he slapped his knee laughing. "And this is why I keep my seatbelt extra tight with you girls. Never know when we're gonna stop, or if we're gonna stop." Then he got suddenly serious, like he was contemplating something profound. Three teenage girls driving. I should really update my will, and sat back with a satisfied smirk, clearly waiting for us to appreciate his comedic genius. By the third lesson, we'd discovered his pattern. He'd make his nasty jokes for 20 minutes, then use the afternoon drives as nap time while we practiced highway driving. Then one afternoon, Maria slightly veered and he exploded. "Jesus, are you trying to collect mailboxes? Because you're doing great." He wiped tears from his eyes. "You know, girls like you three are why insurance rates are so high, and why driving instructors need hazard pay." It's funny because it's true. He was still chuckling when he yawned and added, "Just try not to kill us while I..." And then, just like he always did after exhausting himself with insults, he was snoring, head tilted back against the headrest. I looked at Emily and Maria in the rearview mirror, and something passed between us. That's when I realized. He told me to never turn unless he said so. The interstate entrance was coming up on the right, and I could see the big green sign marking I-95 North hanging over the highway like a dare. I tilted my head slightly toward it, and Emily caught my glance, following my eyes to the sign before whispering, "I didn't hear him say turn," while Maria nodded slowly and added, "Me neither." I glanced down at the fuel gauge showing a full tank, then back at the sleeping Mr. Cooper. And as we approached the on-ramp and I felt the car naturally wanting to continue straight onto the interstate, I took a deep breath and tightened my grip on the wheel. For a split second, my foot hovered between the gas and brake. I could still take the exit coming up, wake him up, pretend nothing happened. But then I heard him snore again, that same satisfied, smug sound, and my decision was made. Well, he did say to follow his instructions exactly. The merge onto the interstate was smooth, and Mr. Cooper kept snoring while the highway stretched endlessly ahead. 30 minutes passed, then an hour, and his phone started buzzing in the cup holder with increasing frequency. We passed the "Welcome to New Jersey" sign after 2 hours, making Emily stifle a nervous giggle as his phone lit up constantly with "Wifey" flashing on the screen. By the time we approached Newark after 2.5 hours, I finally pulled into a rest stop, and we all prepared to act confused. "Mr. Cooper, where are we?" Maria asked in her most innocent voice after gently shaking him awake. He jolted up, blinking rapidly as his brain processed the New Jersey Turnpike signs surrounding us, and his face morphed from confusion to pure horror when he grabbed his phone and saw 27 missed calls. He just stared at us, then the signs, then his phone again while his face cycled through every possible shade of panic. The 3-hour drive back was silent except for his phone ringing constantly. He reached for the radio twice but pulled his hand back both times, like even music would somehow make this worse. He dropped us all back at the school parking lot, mumbling only, "See you Thursday," before driving off without another word. Next Thursday, we all braced for his explosion, but he walked in grinning instead. So apparently my wife called every hospital between here and Jersey thinking I'd been kidnapped, which honestly would have been less embarrassing than the truth. We couldn't help but laugh as he actually looked us in the eye for the first time ever. And from then on, every lesson started with, "We're staying in the state today, right?" He actually taught us properly instead of just mocking our mistakes. Years later, my sister came home from driver's ed raving about how cool Mr. Cooper was, telling me he shares this hilarious story about 3 girls who drove him to New Jersey and calls it the best lesson he ever learned.